There is a mistake I make when trying to sound professional, to sound good, to make my very best art. Perhaps it's the same mistake that you make too. Let's take a look. Throughout my creative life, I thought the gap between where I was and where I wanted to be was a technical gap. So I kept trying to sound professional before I actually had anything to say. And that slows creativity down enormously. There's a specific mistake here that I think most of us creative people make at some point. And it's worth naming clearly. What trying to sound professional actually costs you. The creative's trap isn't aiming high. The trap is applying a finished standard to unfinished work. Every rough early draft or session gets filtered through. Does this sound like the real thing? And when the answer is no, you tighten up, second guess, redo, abandon. The pressure to perform professionally before you've had the chance to play loosely is one of the most reliable ways to kill creative output. This happens across every creative discipline. Writers drafting with one eye on how a published author would phrase it. Painters comparing rough studies to finished work. Photographers chasing a polished aesthetic before they found their eye. And filmmakers trying to match production values they admire before they found their voice. The taste gap. Once again, radio producer Ira Glass has the most honest description of this I've come across. He calls it the taste gap, the gap between what you can see and what you can make. When you're drawn to creative work, it's usually because you have taste. You know what good looks like. I know I like. I like what I see. And that taste is exactly what makes your early work frustrating, because you can see the gap clearly. I know what I like. I don't like what I see. But here's his key point. The only way to close that gap is volume. More work, rough work, work that isn't trying to be professional yet. The people who get through this phase are the ones who keep going rather than stopping to polish. Style is a side effect, not a target. Austin Kleon, pronounced better this time, right, makes a related point in Still Like an Artist. Style doesn't come from finding your voice. It comes from working, imitating, failing to copy your influences perfectly, and discovering what's left when you can't quite pull it off. Those imperfections, the places where your version diverges from what you were trying to make, are where your actual style lives. Your failed attempt at polished imitation is more authentically yours than the imitation would have been. In fact, I would say that creativity is found in the imperfection. The most distinctive creative voices didn't get there by aiming directly at sounding distinctive. They got there by making a lot of work and finding themselves in the gap. Mind the gap? No. Find it. Live in it. Find the gap and create there. So, in closing, give your early work permission to be rough. Judge it by volume, not quality. The polishing comes later. The refinement comes later. The professional standard is for the editing stage, not the generating stage. The most professional thing you can do early on is keep going. If this has helped, do like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. I'm off to make a huge volume of work. I'll see you soon. Stay safe and keep creating. Bye.